we now want to look at doing some research and reviewing our questionnaire. So let's start by thinking about the order of questions. What order should we put the questions in? We always want to have a screening question first because we don't want to waste people's time. If they're not part of the target population, then we don't want to waste their time by asking other questions first. So always a screening question first. Then we want any demographic questions that you might have. So what's your age, what's your gender, what's your location? If that's what your screening question is, then certainly do that. But if it's just extra information you want about the target population, then leave those demographic questions till last, because if they have to not answer some questions, those are the ones we don't want answered. We want them to answer the ones about the topic that you've chosen. That's the most important things. We want to group the questions together by topic. So if I've got some questions to do with what shoes you wear, and I've got another group of questions to do with what kind of hair you have, and another group of questions to do what kind of makeup you have, I want to group those questions together. We always want to start with logging a bit of background research. Okay, it gives us a better understanding of the topic that we're trying to write a questionnaire about. It helps us look for similar questions. What kind of questions have other people used? Let's make use of some of those resources. And it also gives you other topic ideas, so other things that might be connected to this. Once we've created this questionnaire and we've met all these criteria, the next thing you want to do is get a desk review done. And it could be that you do the desk review, or I would recommend you get someone else to do that. And they're going to check that questionnaire for you and give you some feedback. So there will be a template available to give you some ideas of what kind of things to check and look for. So the point of doing a desk review is to make your questionnaire better. And then by making it better, we want more accurate data, we want to have no bias in it, we want a higher response rate, we want it easy to be filled in, and it encourages people to participate. So every bit of feedback that we're giving is based because this is what we're trying to achieve. So here's an example of some questions that I would consider need improving. So for example, here's a question: what race or ethnic heritage do you consider yourself? And you'll notice this was done a long time ago in America, and they've used a lot of colours to describe people's ethnicity or race. That's not something that we do nowadays, and so in terms of a review, I would give the feedback, how about you use more politically correct terminology than black and white? Here's another question: have you ever had a course in sociology theory or other social theory where Marx, Weber, Durkheim, Parsons, Comte and similar theorists were discussed for at least 2 weeks? You might have more understanding of what sociological theory is, but I'm certainly not well known for my knowledge of this, and when they talk about social theory, I have no idea who any of these people are. So that's a question that's not an easily understood language. They're using jargon there. They're expecting people to know who these theorists are, and that's assuming too much. Here's another one: do you support the murder of unborn children by abortionists? The way that this question is worded is use this word, do you support the murder? So it's leading people. It's not a neutral or unbiased wording in the question here. And we want to keep any questions that we write, we want to keep them neutral so people give us truthful answers. Another one here: do you think most politicians are dishonest, or are they like other people? And again, do you think most politicians are dishonest? That's leading people to saying, yes, most politicians are dishonest. It's making them think that that's what the answer they should be giving is, rather than them feeling like they can give their honest opinion and think about it before they answer. So those are some of the things that we would pick up when we're doing a desk review. Now you'll be given, as I said before, you'll be given a template, and I've just given a quick image of it here. You can see you're going to check for the title, you're going to check if they've got a purpose, have you told us how long it's going to take to complete the questionnaire, and so on. So that's what you're going to do, is you're going to have a desk review checklist completed by someone else, preferably, for your questionnaire, and then that gives you a chance to look at that feedback and make changes and improvements to your own questionnaire.